Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in to another Global from Asia podcast, War Stories and the Pandemic. You ready for this, Jan?
Yeah, I am, Mike.
All right, let's do this.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Welcome everybody to the GFA podcast, War Stories. What do you think of that, Jan?
Yeah, I've heard many war stories, Mike, but this time we're going to take it to the business level.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all of us been through it, the team, the community, everybody, especially in a cross-border business world, with the borders closed. We just had the CBM2021 and we called it the Broken Border series. So, I think it's been over a year and a lot of us have been through a lot. So this is the episode I think people have been waiting for.
Absolutely, Mike. I really think so too.
Yeah. So actually it's also, we had just mentioned the CBM cross-border matchmaker. Today's content is panel 1, and we had some really amazing people helping make this happen, especially our team. I'm really happy, Jan, you've been helping a lot with the community. Camille, LJ, Stephanie, Manley, and just so many others in the community.
Right. Also, we have our GFA VIPs on the panel. We have Catherine Shen, Simon Gerard, John Cavendish, Rose, Ina Topalovic, David Colucci, Chris Thomas, Luciana Dremer, Andy Lee, and of course the list goes on. We had a lot on panel 1 actually, and not every one of them had the chance to speak for a long time. But I hope next time we can work on that.
Yeah, I think we're so blessed with amazing experts in the community, that have amazing knowledge to share. I think next time we'll just have to I'm thinking we will have to have more sessions over multiple days, I think is the solution to that. But there's amazing stuff. And on top of our team, our community, our members, also our sponsors, we had 3 great sponsors there. Mercury.com, the US banking solution for international sellers. They've been an ongoing GFA partner sponsor. As many of you have probably been hearing them in our content over the last months, and also some event sponsors. We had GoRemit.hk, cross-border payment in Hong Kong to Southeast Asia and China. And we also had E-commerce Universe, which is Andy Lee's training center for sellers in Southeast Asia, he's so supportive. I mean, he shared his knowledge. He's in our membership and community, and he's also a sponsor. So thank you, Andy, for that.
Yeah, thank you very much to our sponsors. Mercury for US bank account for international sellers, E-commerce Universe for training for sellers in Southeast Asia, and GoRemit for cross-border payments from Hong Kong to Asia locations. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I think we will get into the meat of the episode, and we have our first panel as a sourcing experts. Do you want to share who these? We'll link on the show notes here at globalfromasia.com/war stories. You can check their profiles. We have GFA VIP profiles for them in their VIP network. And there's a great group here. Jan, do you want to just tell everybody who these great people are on this session today?
Yes, let's hear war stories from sourcing experts Ina Topalovic, Simon Gerard, Ashmon Garikongoma, Meg Lobard Watt, Christian Goliardo, and of course, Chris Thomas.
Yeah, Chris, the Australian seller. Appreciate it. So they're all around the world, really. I mean, they're represented all around the world. And I think let's just jump into the main meat of the episode, and then we call it our blah, blah, blah session. We can hear some of these other stories and the reason why Jan and others in the team have some of my stuff in their place. What do you think?
All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that later during the outro. Okay, so let's get into the show now.
Let's go. Let's do it. And of course, thank you to our ongoing sponsor, Mercury.com. They also sponsor this event at Cross-Border Matchmaker. It's a great service, right, Jen?
Yeah, I agree, Mike. Even you used it, right?
True. Yeah, we use it in our Amazon or e-commerce news venture. I couldn't have got an account without them because I know I'm an American, but our business partner in this joint venture and our major investor is not a U.S. citizen. So the traditional banks told me because I have a non-US partner, I need to come in person with him. And, we can't go to to the US. Like I can barely get back to China. We're all locked down. So yeah, thank you, Mercury. I like to support, of course, they did support the show, but I also like to promote the services that we actually use and can put our checkbox on. So thank you, Mercury. We also have a bonus for people that use our link at globalfromasia.com/Mercury.
Cool. Very happy to be here. I hope everything is okay with everyone all over the world. My name is Simon. I've been based in China for the last 10 years, mostly helping international European companies to localize their services, finding suppliers, helping them with the logistics, making sure that we are like facilitating trade. Recently, last year, I joined HyperSQ, which is helping online sellers with their sourcing and shipping from China, which is mainly drop shipping related. So if you're a drop shipper out there and you're looking for a good supplier, just leave me a message. Or if you need any help with that, or tips or advice, just reach out to me. Happy to support. And grateful to be part of this GFA community. So yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you so much. And appreciate it. You're also our member too, so appreciate your support for that. It's really appreciated. Christian, do you want to give us an intro? It'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah. Hi to everyone. I'm now connected from Chile. I think it's far away. It's 12 hour different, I think. So here's 6 something in the morning. It's quite early.
So early. Thank you for waking up.
But
Wow.
I'm super happy. I've been working for connected for e-commerce more than 10 years. I live in Czech Republic in Prague, but for the reason of the pandemic situation, I came to my country. I was supporting more tech company. A European company came to Latin America. I was running the Go Local strategy. My expertise is connected for e-commerce, online sales, and how you can roll out your services in Latin America, across from Mexico to Argentina.
Awesome. Nice to connect. Yeah, it's been a lot. We've all been adjusting a lot with the pandemic and
Awesome. So yeah, my name is Rico. I run Sourcefine Asia. Lived in China for 5 years from 2014 till 2020 and currently live in Manila in the Philippines. I planned on being half in China, half in the Philippines, but obviously COVID happened last year. But yeah, my business partner, Mike Shearhorn, Mike Michelini, he originally started the company in 2008. And I joined on and restarted the company as a CEO, and we've grown from what we were doing before, working out of my apartment in Guangzhou, to having an office with a team all over China and expanding to the Philippines now. So yeah, that's all about me. We deal with a lot of Amazon sellers, a lot of crowdfunding, so a lot of original design, longer term projects. Also kind of switching over to a little bit of digital services, like taking a page out of Michael McLeany's book. So that's a little bit about me.
Thanks, Mike. Great. Yeah, man, we've watched you grow over the years. It's really great. You're always working so hard. Thanks for that, Rico. I'm just trying to see who's ready with technical and audio, but it looks like Eno's ready. Eno, you want to come up? Can you just give us a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. No problem. My name is Eno Topalovic. I come from a small country in East Europe, Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've been in China since 2014. All that time in EU, where is that famous wholesale market for commodities. And since last year, in past, I have been working in a QC company. And since last year, I started my own business, sourcing, trading. So that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, we want to talk more about that too. I mean, you've gone through a lot, with the PPE and everything too. So it's been a lot
Yes.
for you. We still have a couple more intros, but
Okay, so thanks a lot, Mike, for inviting me here. My name is Mekla. I have been in the sourcing industry for almost 20 years. Most of my career, I worked with B2B sourcing platform Global Sources. And more recently, I've been focused on helping Amazon and e-commerce sellers source products from India. I organize a sourcing trip to India, as Mike mentioned in the introduction, India sourcing trip. And I also have a Facebook group where I provide information and resources for people to source products from India. And I'm currently based in Singapore. So that's about me.
Okay, thank you, Megla.
Mike, she's ready.
Thank you
Mike
for
can't
that
hear me.
introduction. Yeah, he can't hear
Yeah,
you.
I'm a little bit jealous. Megla was getting like thumbs ups and high fives. What's going on, guys? Come on.
This is for you,
I mean, I got the tie clip
Oh,
on.
there they go.
I appreciate it.
Okay. We're just trying to get the intros. I think Chris is here. Is Chris able to come up? I'm not seeing him, but I hope it works. Again, this is our first matchmaker and our first online event. So everybody, thank you for your patience. But I think it's already pretty amazing. We got really great people here. And, that's what it's all about, is making some connections, making some new ideas. And so we have this Google Doc and we have some people with questions. Let's start with the first question I see on the list. Is from Megla and Simon. Look like they're interested to answer this. So many of us are weary about putting up a business due to the pandemic right now. We're afraid to get started. Based on your experiences, how do you rate? How would you decide to do a business or not in this time of uncertainty?
Simon, go for it.
You want me to go? Sure.
Yeah.
For me, I think this time is actually a great opportunity. And that's actually because whether you are now a service provider, an online seller, or a supplier, many companies need to make the switch to selling online and communicating online. And this is, for a lot of companies, is not the normal. A lot of large companies, they're not able to make that switch that quickly because suddenly they have to go from offline, the mainstream of revenue, to an online situation. So the niche has become a mainstream. And that has a huge impact, not only on operations, but also on consumer behavior, obviously. And I think as we all are SMEs, small, medium-sized enterprises, looking for opportunities, this is a great opportunity to grab your advantage, because there are, from an opportunity from a business point of view, but also from an operational point of view. When you look at structuring your own business, it is important to realize that when your colleagues are working from home, it doesn't really matter anymore where they're located. Especially when you look at Southeast Asia, tons of opportunities for people that have language skills and availability and flexibility to be able to bring your business also to the next level and grab the opportunity. So for me, I know there's a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of for people struggling, but for small, medium-sized entrepreneurs like we all are, this is a great opportunity to grab, and you can actually make use of the momentum by just making use of what's available, resources, opportunities, and tap into them. So my suggestion is really make yourself visible so that other people can find you, because people are in need of companies like ourselves to be able to bridge the gap.
Yeah, I totally agree with
That's
Simon.
great. Simon, yeah, I think with big change comes great opportunity, right? Maybe that's a little bit of a variation, but...
Yeah, so I totally think this is, I totally agree with Simon. This is a great opportunity. I mean, the pandemic has actually given us so many new opportunities that we didn't really think about, and especially e-commerce. It has been booming, and it's not only Amazon, but there's so many other different channels and marketplaces that have come up. Walmart is really pumping in a lot of money into their marketplace as well. And then a lot of, the others like Shopify, and there's so many opportunities in e-commerce that are emerging. So I think if you're in the right business, if you can identify where the opportunity is, where the specific need is, then this is a great time to start a business. Of course, you don't want to start like a physical business at this time, or a events or conference business. But, personally for me, for example, I used to host conferences and sourcing trips, but now I've pivoted to virtual events, and I'm doing workshops, and I'm doing, all sorts of different virtual events that is more difficult to monetize than physical in-person events, but there are different ways to monetize it. So I think you have to be very creative in terms of identifying where the opportunity is, and also think differently how you can monetize those opportunities.
Thank you, Megla. Mike, back to you, Mike. Can you summarize?
All right. I put the question in the chat for Eno, but I see Ash here again. I don't know if Ash is able.
Thanks, Mike, for having me. It's great to be here. My name is Ash. I've been based in China for the last almost 11 years now. In fact, I run a sourcing company called IMX Sourcing. Like a lot of the other speakers here, help people import products from China. So it's a fully outsourced supply chain solution. We work with a lot of e-commerce sellers. So that's been a core focus over the last 10 years. And like a lot of other speakers have been stuck out of China for the last almost year and a half now. So I'm at the moment in the UK, looking for an opportunity to somehow get back to China, but that's not happening for now because I think I need 2 shots of the Chinese vaccine before I can apply for a new visa. So yeah. So, but it's been interesting times, and yeah, very happy to share my experiences of how things are working out during this period.
Okay, great, Ash. Thanks for sharing. I know you've been through a lot. I mean, we've been talking through this whole period. You've been India and now London, and I wish you the best with everything. I know we've all been through a lot this year.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Chris, you want to come up? Is it going to work?
Yeah, I hope so. Yes. Look, hello.
All
Fantastic.
right.
It works. Mike,
Nice
thank you very much for inviting me along to tonight's session. So obviously I'm Chris Thomas. I run a podcast called the Australian Seller Podcast, and I also consult to a lot of companies and brands and individuals as well about how to sell on Amazon, both domestically here in Australia on Amazon's local marketplace here, but also internationally as well on other Amazon marketplaces. And then I do a bit of e-commerce consulting too. And just on that previous sort of points that Megla and I'm sorry, the other speaker was saying there, Simon, sorry. I've just been doing some consulting in the last couple of months actually with a company here that does a gift with purchase type. That's their business. So they work with high-end perfume companies and makeup companies and who else? Like spirit, alcohol spirit companies, and they do like really high-end gifts with the purchase of these products to add extra value. And last year, their business completely collapsed, and so I've been helping them to pivot. To Megla's point, so now what they want to do is have an offering with a gift with purchase type offer with e-commerce, because they've seen that e-commerce is really the way to go. So they're actually branching out. So you're seeing a lot of businesses at the moment which were traditionally fixed on traditional bricks and mortar who are now mainstream, going straight into e-commerce and trying to diversify their business as quickly as they can. So yeah, totally agree with everything that's been said previously.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's really a pleasure to have you. I know it's a little bit late for you in Australia now in Melbourne, so it's really appreciated.
I just thought I'd do an intro as well as make a point there. Sorry about that.
No, it's good. I know we have such an amazing group here. We're really honored to have you and others amazing people here.
Great to be here.
I think let's move to a question I posted in here. Eno started his business right in the middle of the pandemic. We're kind of talking about that earlier about starting or not. Eno, you started your sourcing business when? Like May 2021?
Yes.
Like 1 year now?
May. Yeah,
1
officially
year?
company registered May 21, exactly on the same day like today.
Wow,
Oh,
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Well, the question there is how was it to start the business in the pandemic? Well, just registering the company is same procedure like any time. I'm always thinking if the pandemic happened like 30 years ago when there was no so much developed online business, we can be thankful that we have so many internet things and technology at this level, so it doesn't really disturb so much. Like in the past, when you could only source things physically, when you go to exhibitions, find suppliers and use yellow pages to find companies. For now, it's mainly people are more like nervous than it actually had some impact. It had impact more on the companies that do retail, brick and mortar, than that didn't switch to or start at all doing any commerce. So for me, only challenge to register the company was because I registered it in USA. So I didn't have experience how to do it. I found online agent to register in Wyoming, send my information, then it was all done easy. But next step was getting the tax number in USA, and I'm not US citizen, then getting the bank account. It was a little bit of challenging, so I wasted like 3-4 months to have the company operational with a bank account and everything, so I can start charging for the services. But I was doing sourcing also in the past, so I had some clients that I worked with before. So it was not actually like I started from zero, like a registered company, then search for the clients. I had experience, I had contacts. I was doing business when I was in Europe since 2002. So it's easier when you have connections. For somebody that just lost their job and wants to start doing something new in the middle of pandemic, that would be much bigger problem.
Okay, thank you, Ina. Thank you for that. So we'll also have a roundtable sessions after. So everyone in the audience can join to talk more details with Eno or other panelists, because we have amazing people here. So we're going to just try to share the stage a bit more. So I want to hear from Christian again. Christian, if you're ready, I'll put the question in the box, and maybe I think Rico has this too. But how has travel restrictions forced your deal with clients and sourcing to rely more on your people in China? I don't know if you're ready for that, or if you see that question. Is that something you'd like to answer? I'm just trying to involve more people.
I think Rico can move with this question. I don't know if it's better fit for the question, or I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd like to give some, and then we can have Rico come after. If you'd like to answer this.
Yeah, I was trying to thinking how I connected with the Latin American situation today.
Yeah, please. You could share about that. I would love to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in Latin America, the opportunity here is basically we have now hundreds of millions of people, potential clients. I think this is the what happened in Latin America today. What happened, because before COVID, the people was kind of afraid to use the credit card to purchase online, okay? But during the pandemic, what happened now that everyone have to purchase everything from home. And now you can see the numbers that you can anticipate to move the region like 2 years ahead. Basically, the conversion, if you want to purchase something online, is a way better before COVID situation. What is the opportunity here? Basically, always many companies was hesitating of the power of Latin America and e-commerce side, because the conversion was quite poor. Because usually when they try to analyze the data, Latin America was the average data, put everything in kind of the same box, right? But now every single country, at least the top 6 countries in Latin America, have improved a lot in terms of results if you want to sell there. In terms of the prioritization, if you came to Latin America, always have to put focus in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and Peru. I mean, all those countries making around 80% of the business in Latin America. I think this is a good opportunity for everyone who is kind of making some products, for example, from China, moving to potential new markets. I think Latin America is booming now in e-commerce. I think you don't have to wait more time. I think that there are many, and the expert, or I think the more people here in the call are thinking where to sell the product from China, bring it to South America, to Latin America. I think now is the way. If you want to sell everything online, Latin America is a perfect market today, and getting better and better. I think that the potential is here. The conversion for any kind of purchase online is getting better and better. Just to think about it and from local perspective, not from a global one, and be super careful about how you can localize your strategy in LATAM. If you decide it's okay, I want to move the products from China to Latin America, let's go local. This is kind of basically what I've been doing the last 10 years. You have to differentiate the top countries and not put everything like under Latin America umbrella. If you want to succeed in Latin America, you have to go first Brazil and Mexico, Portuguese country and Spanish-speaking countries, and then roll out your services country by country. I think it's basically the key.
That's great, Christian. And then you'll also be in the roundtable after the panel, so people can also talk to you at the tables afterward.
Yeah, we have a question for Christian.
Okay.
From Catherine Shen, what type of product category do well in Latin America?
Today, anything that you can purchase online is a great moment to sell. That good is basically the region. Because before was with the pandemic was some kind of a little bit complicated for the logistic, right? If you want to move something. But I believe that the Chinese company, they're managing this the last 10 years, and today is not a problem. Basically, you can purchase everything from China and bring to Latin America in a kind of a decent time. And couple of weeks, in a week, depending on how you pay the services, right? I think it's not kind of a friction for any products. Can be software because easy, right? You don't need to move something to Latin America. And then any products I think is connected with beauty, technology, everything.
Okay, Christian, thank you so much. I just want to make sure we have enough for everybody. We only have 15 minutes left for the panel, but if we'll also have the round tables where each speaker here will have a table and people can talk to Christian or Chris or Eno or any of these amazing people after. So also if we didn't get to ask people, you can go to their table afterwards. And Irving, I see your question. We can save that till the end. I think we want to move to Rico next about travel restrictions. I know you've been stuck in Manila. Like you said, you were planning to go between China and Philippines for your business. We even did that on the podcast. How has this all changed your plans and strategy and for others too, you know?
Hey, yeah, I think with regards to me, I mean, obviously I had plans to go back and forth between China and Philippines, but on top of that, I wanted to expand and go to some of the other Southeast Asian countries. So if I talk about it from a business perspective, it was a little bit concerning because we've had some really major projects in the last year or so, starting with the PPE craze. But beyond that, we've had clients that were really successful during this COVID period and have decided to actually expand their operations or start producing new products or larger orders. And what that's done for me is it's really stress tested my relationships with my team. So one of my longest employees who was working with me in my apartment before we got an office, she's been with me for 4 years, and she's actually a senior project manager who will probably become a COO. She, as we speak right now, she's in Qingdao, going between 3-4 different suppliers, hiring employees that we're going to have working in these factories on a daily basis. So any other situation, I would be there. I would be physically with her, managing, monitoring what was going on, problem solving in real time in the factories. And I've really had to rely on my staff. So on one aspect, it's a little bit scary, but another aspect, she's impressed me a lot. So, there's a positive there. And then with regards to, just even logistics and QC companies and all the other partners that we work with on a typical basis, I've really had to rely on them to do their job to the best of their ability. So I think that's one aspect. But then on the client side of things, a lot of our clients who maybe prior to the pandemic were the kind of clients who would be in China when they had a big order. They would be in China. They would come for the trade shows. They would be here in China 3-4 times a year. They've also had to now rely on companies like mine and our partners more and more. A lot of our clients are also expanding and wanting to hire their own employees, but they can't physically spend that much time in China, or they can't go to China unless they get a vaccine or, do a 3-week quarantine. So I think from the client's perspective, there's just a lot of reliance on having good partners in mainland, I think is one of the biggest things for me. We were a little bit lucky because we started doing remote work systems in 2019, just because I was traveling a lot. Like I spent half of the year outside of China during that time period. And then we just kind of implemented remote work. So from an internal work system, it hasn't really changed, but it's definitely been, it's stress tested those systems a lot, because we, obviously we rely more in technology, Zoom, and, we always talk through Slack and stuff like that. So it's just been a little bit more of that and making sure that everything is structured.
Okay.
So
Thanks,
that's my perspective on it.
Yeah, I know, man. It's almost been a chance to step up these leaders in the company, right? Like you originally were like maybe mentoring them or with them, like you said, but now they have to kind of lead on their own in your China operation. So hopefully that'll grow your company, long term. I mean, same for me, really. I mean, Jan and Camille are stepping up. We're trying to step up leaders. We can't be involved in as much as leaders, as business owners, right?
Yeah,
that's great. Okay, again, this is action packed. We have some amazing people. We only have 10 minutes left for the panel, but we will have table mode where I believe most of these panelists will be at a table. So you hopefully get an idea of some of these amazing people and you can network with them, maybe Christian about Latin America, Megala, India and sourcing. I think we can connect with, that's the whole point. We want you to get a little taste of the people at the panel and then follow up with these amazing people in the table mode. So let's look at the questions. This is about sourcing and how people have changed in the times. I'm trying to hear a little bit more from Ash or maybe Megala about sourcing. How have you seen sourcing change? If Ash, if you're here, I'd love to hear, especially you.
Okay, guys. So I think Ash, you can, if you want to answer, if you have some insights that you could share, I guess we can. Yeah, you can go
Absolutely.
ahead.
So great. Yeah. So just to summarize the question, I believe was, firstly, how has sourcing changed during this time, but also, I think one of the earlier questions that we discussed was, like in the ecosystem itself, what has changed, and I think more importantly, what ideally should change. So personally, for us, what we have found is, in terms of the sourcing itself, not a lot has changed. I mean, of course, people are relying more on online channels. Even the Canton Fair, for example, as a business, their focus is shift from offline to online. They're trying to redirect a lot of their traffic to their online channels and stuff. But other than that, I think there's a lot of potential for improvement in the ecosystem as a whole. For example, I think one of the biggest barriers to trade growth from China has been like trade finance. Banks are still kind of very, very traditional in how they do business. And that's actually one of the biggest barriers to scale because they're very bureaucratic. So what we have found from our clients during this time is there were a lot of opportunities for scaling quickly. For example, the sales on the e-commerce side have increased a lot, and then there was demand for PPE and stuff. So there were actually a lot of opportunities, but a lot of the times it also required, especially for the really large orders, it required trade finance support and stuff. And that's where the traditional banks have been very slow and bureaucratic. So the change that has worked is there are more fintech companies that have come up and they've done really well and they've enabled that trade growth. But I think banks could do more there. But other than that, personally, COVID has had a very little impact in how we do things, because what I found is for the initial first couple of months, there was a shock effect and people just stopped placing orders and everything was on hold. But gradually people realized that this is the new normal and people adapted to that very quickly. And, that's one thing about small and medium-sized businesses, especially. The largest businesses tend to struggle a little bit more, but they adapt. And overall, for most of our clients, if anything, they've grown as businesses, because I think one reason could be because we work with a lot of e-commerce sellers, and generally the pandemic has actually kind of helped e-commerce sales because, the movement from offline to online has been accelerated even more. But also in terms of the new opportunities with like PPE and stuff, it's grown a lot, but the challenge has been more on the supply side as well. So that's another point with PPE. The biggest challenge has been the suppliers who have all the certifications have been very challenging to deal with because they've been imposing their own terms. I remember when this first started, if you wanted to source ventilators, people were asking for like $10,000 just to visit the factory. They're like, hey, you have to pay $10,000 in advance. I will give you a meeting at the factory so you can see what we have. And there was a lot of fraud going on. That's changed. But even yesterday, we placed an order for testing kits, which was actually for the Denmark government. And the supplier's attitude was like, everything has to be done on their terms, their contract, their delivery time. And even the inspection, was like, we were really, really limited. But it's because the suppliers are in that position. So sourcing has been challenging from that aspect. Until we have enough suppliers with the right set of certification, there's pretty much a supplier's market at the moment, So, yeah.
So yeah, what I was saying, I think one of the things that we noticed was that certain product categories were definitely in higher demand than others. So we saw people switching from one category to another. For example, especially for sourcing from India, there was a lot of demand for home products, home decor, and furnishings. Those kinds of product categories were in high demand, whereas there was less demand for apparel or evening wear or bags, those kinds of things. So that was one big change that we saw, that there was a shift in categories. And then the other thing is that I'm sort of related and tied to the exhibitions industry, and it was unimaginable, I think, 2 years ago, before the pandemic. It was kind of unimaginable to do sourcing without Canton Fair, without the Global Sources Fairs in Hong Kong. And you had to, all the major buyers, they had to visit Hong Kong and China twice a year to do their sourcing. So it has completely changed the way that, a lot of these people, a lot of these bigger buyers source. They're not dependent on exhibitions and meeting suppliers face to face. And of course, we've doing a lot of online sourcing and online shows, as Ash mentioned as well. Another thing I've realized is that people have diversified their sourcing, and this we heard a lot at the beginning of 2020 when the pandemic started, and the supply chains were kind of disrupted in China. At that time, people were diversifying and looking at alternative sources, especially India. And now there's disruption in India, and now people are looking at other markets as well. So I think it's really brought home the point, and you reiterated that you've got to have supply chain diversification. That's really important. Okay, I'm done, Mike. Can you see me?
Mike, Megla's done.
Okay, Jan's here. Jan. Well, I think the next question is logistics. I'd love to hear about logistics. I think it's a big problem right now. People are paying 2, 3, 4 times higher. So I'd love to get any tips. I think a lot of people today need help with logistics for their business.
Awesome. So I've been doing cross-border logistics for the last 10 years, more or less. And it's been a nightmare the last year for a lot of people involved. But it's also been a kind of I think this is really a changing point. When it comes to, obviously, a lot of there are less boats in circulation. And that's also because nobody wants to carry any empty containers back. They only want full containers. So there's still a lot of power with logistic companies, particularly the ones, they're not the forwarders, but actually the ones that owning the planes and owning the boats and all this kind of stuff. And so the sea freight is an issue. Air freight definitely is an issue because there are no commercial flights. It's all need to be cargo flights. So you see companies actually buying charter flights just to be able to sustain their existing business. I'm dealing mostly with Europe and China. And what has really been game changer has been the train. The train has been more popular than ever. And now there's also trucking solutions, trucking from China to Europe, which takes 3 weeks. And I have 2 drivers in that truck that just drives. And it's been in very high demand just because there's a lot of other options. And that's been, a lot of people are not aware about the truck option. Most are aware about the train option. But the truck has been a little bit less exposed when it comes to deliveries from China to Europe. So I think that's good to mention that you need to be aware of the availability of this solution. Yeah.
Simon, what's the cost of a container at the moment, say a 40-foot container from China through to the US or indeed into Europe? What's the average price?
Oh, I think now, so before COVID was like maybe $1,500 US. And now it's actually $4,000 to $5,000 US to Europe.
Yeah, right. Because I'm hearing prices like going up as high as $15,000 for a container from China to the US.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I also heard 8,000 and more. Yeah. And a lot of my customers are just keeping the stock in the warehouse because it doesn't add up. They just keep it in China. They're not shipping out.
I think Ash can maybe chime in as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say we got quoted at almost $20,000 for a 40 HQ to Europe last week. So that was probably the highest quote I've ever seen in my last 10, 11 years in the industry. That was just completely blew my mind off.
So Ash, when's it going to get better? When are we going to see prices start to ease, do you think?
I think it's also about what we're finding is if you're willing to wait 3 to 4 weeks, you get slightly better prices. That's one of the hacks now. But if you're really wanting to ship it like straight away, because a lot of these clients also want everything urgently, especially because of the on the PPE side. So they're willing to pay that premium. But I think in terms of when it's going to ease, I think it depends on when the borders start to open and when the trade from Europe to China also starts picking up. I think like Simon mentioned, I think because if a lot of these containers are going empty, that means they're factoring in the return cost into their pricing as well. So that's also a huge factor. Another factor, just to add there was, one of the friends who works in supply chain mentioned was a lot of the bigger logistics companies over the last 5-10 years have the industry has consolidated. So there are fewer players and a lot of the bigger vessels have gone out of service. And that's also in the last 6 months itself, quite a few vessels have gone out of service, and that's impacted the costs as well.
I bet it has. I was going to ask then, are you saying that when you actually book a container or a shipment, it's better to try and get your freight forwarder to book something a little bit further in advance if you can afford to wait, and you might get a better rate? Is that what you're saying? Is that the hack?
Absolutely. We normally, when we're 2 weeks away from production completion, we kind of start the conversation and get quotes in and even try and get a booking if we can. But sometimes that itself can be harder because they want a more confirmed booking because, they're under pressure from different clients as well. So
I understand.
Yeah, just to add to Ashka's point, I totally agree with that. Like with us, when we've gotten some of the higher quotes, it's been if we wanted to ship out goods immediately, but if we were able to wait a couple of weeks, then the quotes sort of normalize. So I think that a big part is if you can just plan out, and an issue a lot of times with clients is like they'll wait till the last minute to place an order.
Yeah.
But if they can order a little bit in advance and give themselves a little bit of leeway and time and space, then you'll get favorable rates.
That's awesome tips right there. That's well worth the price of admission. Thank you. I remember that. Right, back to you, Mike, with the weather.
Back to the weather. It is getting warm here. I don't have to wear a jacket anymore. I've been wearing a jacket up until middle of May here. I don't need to wear my father-in-law's jacket. So that's my weather report in Shenyang, China. And I think for the weather report for panel 1, I think we're mostly on time. I know it was a lot of amazing people and it was a little bit rushed, but the point is to get a little taste of some knowledge and some information and insights from these experts. I think it was really amazing. So we've already wrapped up. That went really fast, honestly. That was already 45 minutes. I see PJ's question about Mercury. Mercury's in San Francisco, so he'll be on at the panel 3. Travis will be here from Mercury. So that'll be later. But we're going to move into table mode now. I just want to say thank you to all these amazing speakers. And but I think this is even more fun. You're going to get to go into tables now. So make sure when we end this session, go to the lounge tab if it doesn't take you there automatically. And then you should see different tables. It might not work on mobile. If you're on mobile, it might not work. So hopefully you're on laptop mode or your laptop. And then you can double click into that table. And this will be another 45 minutes. And then we'll come back to panel 2 after that at about 7:45 China time. So this will be a good chance for you to talk to all these amazing people. Hopefully you can connect. There's 8 people max per table. So if you can't get into the table, hopefully you can find another one. And ask me or Jan or Camille or others on the team if you need any technical or connection help. And of course, there's a chat. Right, Jan?
Yes, thank you, Mike. All of you people, if you want to follow a specific person like Christian, for example, if you are into Latin America, just sit on his table. Okay, let's go to the round table. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. See y'all there.
All right, that was panel 1 of Cross-Border Matchmaker in May 2021. Thank you again for our amazing experts and members in the community. And like Jan said at the beginning, there were so many amazing people there, and we tried our best to, that could have been hours and hours long, right? But, I think still people got a lot of tips and knowledge. I hope listeners today did too.
Yeah, Mike. There were a lot of favorites from the speaker list that we had. We did a survey after the CBM event, and we had overwhelming responses. So we are sharing that, of course, to our social media channels, and make sure to check out the link that we have for the surveys and testimonials for the CBM event.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks, Jan. And I know you've been helping out, making sure we collect all the feedback from this first online cross-border matchmaker, and it's been great feedback so far, and I hope people enjoyed this. So I said at the beginning we were going to talk about, I think you have a bunch of stuff of mine, or the companies maybe, and
this one is yours. Yeah, I got this from Mike luggage.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of this stuff from my workstation is from Mike's luggage.
Right. Oh man, at least it's going to good use. It was sitting in a box. So, when I'm so happy, Jan, again, I hope you know that you're helping me with this show and coming on, and then I don't know if it was before or after the luggage, but I was like, you need a microphone. And then I was like, we have a microphone. It's in a box in Gautier. He's a listener. I'm pretty sure he listens to almost all of our shows. So thank you, Gautier. He helped me out. Honestly, he and I think his girlfriend, or I don't know who, helped move out of my apartment in BGC, Manila, because I had to literally evacuate from Bohol to Cebu, and I couldn't get back to Manila. That was March 2020.
Yeah, this happened in March 2020 when you went for a retreat in Bohol, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you never got to come back to Manila to pack your things. You fly straight back to China?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously, I'm trying to figure out how long to make this, but I tried multiple times and I kept going to the empty airport. Like I went to Cebu airport, I bought like an expensive last minute flight, and I was staying in like, hotels in Cebu, and I went to an airport and a Grab, and I get to the airport and it was totally empty, like closed on like a Tuesday morning or something. I think it was like May 20th or something, March 20th or something. The Grab driver's driving up and I'm like, there's no people here. And then I go to the security and they're like,
yeah,
did you watch the TV, sir? I'm like, what TV? They're like, oh, the president said airports.
Yeah, because you were too busy with the retreat with our team. That's why you have no idea.
Oh no, I mean, honestly, the president said like that morning, like 8 a.m., 7 a.m., and I had like an 11 a.m. flight, so I don't watch TV. So I took a Grab at like 9 a.m., 9:30. I had like 11 a.m. flight. And then, but they decided it the morning of. They closed the airport that morning.
Well, I'm still glad you were able to fly back to China.
Yeah.
Because if not, then you'll be stuck here.
I barely made it, but basically there was multiple attempts though. It was that one I was empty, and then I came to the empty airport like 2 or 3 times. I stayed at friends' places. I was staying in hotels. I was getting kicked out of apartments because of lockdowns, and it was most crazy like 1 week. But I could barely mail the key. I couldn't mail the key to my apartment, Jen. I left the key at my friend Josh's apartment I was staying in Cebu because there was no mail, no LBC or no mail. I couldn't mail my key to Manila. I couldn't go to Manila. I had to leave a key in Cebu, and then I just caught a last minute flight after like 3 or 4 attempts. So finally, Josh mailed my key to Gautier. It was like a month or 2 later. It was like May last year. And my landlord was all upset because I wasn't paying the rent, and all my stuff was there. And I'm like, man, please just don't steal. I told him like, please don't throw away my stuff. Like, please. Can you just not throw away all my things, like that microphone and everything? He was trying to get me to pay rent. I'm like, man, I'm not going to pay rent if I can't even go there. Like, so Gautier went, finally got the key, and then he moved all my stuff. Like, I don't know. I haven't asked him, but I left dirty clothes in my apartment. Like I had laundry that was there for months. And
yeah,
like literally, I thought I was going to, like meet LJ and Stephanie and our amazing team, Alvin and my others on our team. And I was like, I'll be back in a couple of days. I'll just wash the clothes when I get back.
Yeah.
now they're at your place. I don't know. I hope there's no dirty clothes in there. I don't think even opened
There's
up.
no soiled.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can imagine the experience you had, and thinking about it right now, it's very crazy. Were you able to catch the experience on vlog?
Yeah, there's a few vlog. I mean, I think there's 7 or 8 over the time. Like Alvin, Alvin's amazing. He was helping me edit while I was literally like recording on my camera and uploading it at night while I was in a hotel or a friend's place. And then the next day I would just do another video and upload it overnight. And then we were uploading the videos and everybody's like watching me. Like, honestly, one of them, I really was going to have a breakdown, Jan. Seriously, like I was going to have a breakdown because I was at another friend's place in Cebu and the security kicked me out because they said, no visitor, no visitor. My friend was like, you can stay as long as you want. This Abdul Rahman, he's a really nice guy. He's from the Middle East. I'm sorry, I forget his exact country, but very nice person, very kind. He helped pick me up when I was stranded. And, he says, I have a spare bedroom. You can stay as long as you want, no problem. And I put my stuff there. I unpacked, I don't have a lot of stuff, but I put the stuff in the drawer. The next day, I stayed one night. We go to get food. We're going to get cans, for stocking up from like SNR or something. We come back. The security's like, no visitor, no visitor. I'm like, my stuff's in there. They're like, your friend, wait here. He can only the tenant can go. He need pack your thing, bring outside. I was like, man, I was just here like 1 hour ago. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like, oh, and then
Did
they just
he
say
leave in
some
a
paper,
condo?
and they're like, this paper, it's signed by the management. You cannot come in. I'm like, my stuff.
Yeah, that's really bad. Was it in a condo though?
Yeah, it was a condo.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. It's crazy. I was renting a condo in Cubao, and then when I came back in October, they didn't even let me in. I was renting the unit, but I was paying it. I'm the renter, and they didn't let me in because of the pandemic. It's a crazy policy that they had, and I was all mad. But I can't travel back to Cavite right away because I had my laptop, my things upstairs. So I was just, very frustrated, and I know exactly what you feel because I've been there too.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't experience something like that again.
And I have a video. I was doing a video camera, but they went with us. The security watched me and made sure that I packed my things and waited for me to pack. And then made the taxi wait and but watched me go into the taxi. And then it was 6 or 7 p.m. I don't know, like a Thursday. I think by now it was like Thursday. Like the airport I came back from Bohol on a ferry with Alvin. I get to Cebu. I take a hotel. I book a flight. The airport's closed. I can't stay in an Airbnb or a hotel. And then I try to stay with my friends. And then they watch me pack my stuff. And then he's like, he felt so bad. He's such a nice person. I still, keep in touch with him. And he's like, Mike, where will you go? I'm like, I don't know. It's like 7 p.m. on a Thursday and it's getting dark, and I'm going into a taxi. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm like, they don't want, like hotels are not letting foreigners in. Like I can't get Airbnb anymore. I can't go into a condo. I can't go to my friend's place. Like the taxi dude was just driving me around. And I almost had a breakdown in that taxi. I was sitting in the backseat of the taxi and I didn't know where to go. He was just drive. I just told him just drive. And I just put my hotspot on and my laptop, my phone, I put 4G hotspot and I was searching for hotels and trying to think of where to go. LJ was talking to me in text messages. She's trying to help me get to the embassy, and everybody thinks it's so great to be an American, right? And you know what American Embassy did for me?
What?
They gave me a 20% coupon to a 5-star hotel.
Oh, but were you able to
I didn't want to spend 20% off. It was like, a 5-star hotel, like by the airport was like really expensive. They're like, this is all we can do. I'm like, can you please help me get to Manila? Can you please help me get to Manila? I need to get back to Manila. And then they're like, sorry, we don't have any, planes or maybe there's the Department of Tourism, DOT, call this phone number, the Department of Tourism. And then they're like, maybe there's a military plane. I'm like, I can't stay anywhere. They're like, oh, we can stay at this hotel. I'm like, that hotel is so expensive. You want me to get locked in there for 2 weeks, or like a month paying every day in a hotel and I can't go anywhere? Like, yeah, I mean, this makes me all.
Yeah, I'm curious though. So what happened after that? How did you manage to fly back?
My friend Josh, he's a American guy in Cebu. I couldn't get a hold of him for a while. Finally, he got back to me when I was sitting in a restaurant, like an empty restaurant. I got a hold of him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I work at night. I just woke up. It was like not 8 p.m. or something." He's like, yeah, you can stay at my place. I don't stay in a condo. I stay in like a house. Like he was in those. He has like they're like self-standing houses. So he says it's different than a condo. Condo is more strict. So he had these, these like, I don't want to say small, but it was a nice house, but it was like kind of like a suburb houses. I don't know, maybe you know what this is called. They're like these. Anyways.
No, I'm not sure.
Anyway, he's like, there's no security. Each house is separate. So you can just come here. I just went there and I got another taxi and I went there. And then, yeah, I kind of stayed in his daughter's bedroom. I felt bad because he put his daughter in the living room or something. And it was like, princess pictures on it was like a princess bed and there's like princesses it was like a pink room. I'm like, he's like, oh, don't worry, man. Just stay as long as you want. Here's a towel, I was like, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. And so I luckily we got a last minute flight like 3 days later but I had to go to the airport like almost every day because they're like, you come to the airport. I'm like, come to the airport? Like, can't you tell me that there's an airplane? They're like, there was one time, it was so funny. Mormons, it's like a religious group of people, Mormons. I don't know if you know Mormons. There was like a notice on Facebook. There's 2 planes from Cebu to Manila. There's 2 planes. Just go to the airport. LJ is like, go to the airport. Just go. I was like, I just grab, like go. And they booked this religious group booked the whole plane. They just bought every ticket on the plane. And okay. I mean, I don't know why why does it matter? It's Mormons or religious, but they basically booked the whole plane for their group. So I get there and I'm like, and I have my vlog, right? So I'm like, hey, what's up? They're like, no camera. We said no camera, no press, no PR. I was like, man, I'm just a YouTube dude. Like, what's up? He's like, oh, so sorry. We had to book this plane for our members. I'm like, oh, I just had to go back to Josh's apartment. And it was like that, like for days. Finally, I got a flight to China through Korea. I had to stay one night in Korea. I was so scared I was going to get stuck in Korea because you had to leave. I left the airport because I didn't want to sleep on the floor in the airport. So I left at some kind of Airbnb place. And then I was like, I hope I get back into the airport. I hope I get back into the airport. Yeah, I hope I get back. They're like, yes, you can come back. Yes, you can come back. I'm like, please. So then I got back and I got on my flight and I got to China. And there's so much more. I mean, there's just so much more, but I think people can get the gist. But then I had to, I was like I think there was maybe some Koreans and mostly all Chinese people going on this flight because it was not like a foreign city like where I am. It's like very local Chinese city. So it was just me. Like I'm the only non-Chinese or non-Korean. There was like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 Koreans and like a plane of Chinese people. And I'm like, oh, this is, and then, they like, we're so strict, China's so strict about the COVID, right? So I land and then we just sat on a plane in the runway for like 2 hours. I'm like, hello, like we're not moving. We're sitting here. Like, and then all these people come up in the suits with the masks and they're like, and they're screaming in Chinese, giving everybody so many pieces of paper. I had so many papers. They're just giving us like paper. I had 4 papers I had to fill out in Chinese. And I'm like, sitting next to, it's just out of control. And then I was in the airport all day, basically. And then I got to quarantine. And they didn't even give me food. They just gave me some bread and water. I'm like, man, I was going to go crazy. anyways,
I think this is the new normal, and we have to accept the fact that we have to go through this in order to overcome this,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's just the way it is. But we're trying to adapt. Like, I'm happy we did the cross-border matchmaker online. We've been waiting because we want to I know a lot of our members, I guess everybody prefers in person, but I think people like that event. So I guess, yeah, we're planning to do that maybe 3 months. I guess we penciled in August. Sounds, end of the summer, maybe end of August, same style. We, of course, collecting all the feedback, but I think the format was mostly okay for the event, and we'll just have to all get used to this new normal, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna have the next CBM plan laid out in the next couple of weeks, and you viewers just keep on watching out for the news and events for GFA.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Right now we are working on GFA Kids.
Yeah,
it's an ongoing program right now. If you want to check on the details, you can check kids.globalfromasia.com. And you can check on the details for GFA Kids. If you want to enroll your kid for any of our classes, you are welcome to do so. And also we want to be supported by you guys. So we also offer sponsorship if you want to support this program for the kids, so we can give out scholarships. You are very much welcome to do so. We want to expand this initiative from our team member Anne. She initiated this program, so we're very thankful for Anne and of course Mike for making it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know me by now, Jan. I think a lot of people. I have so many ideas and things I want to do, and do so many things. I guess it's good and it's bad, but I appreciate Anne for helping make it happen, because it's been something we've been wanting to do for a long time. And we had the orientation, we did a test one, I did a test session last week. And I don't know, I think it's really, hopefully, even it's just a few handful of kids, I think it will make a positive impact on the world, right? And hopefully we can help even more. So yeah, it would be great if members or listeners or sponsors want to support this more. This is the first one we're testing, like always, and learning, but yeah, would love to get in touch with us. I guess the best is emailing blog@globalfromasia.com. I think that goes to both of us, and we could help them out if they're interested.
Thank you, Mike. And of course we have the GFA VIP membership. You wanna share something about the GFA VIP so that they have the overview of what to expect if they join the membership?
Sure. So, the membership has been something we've been working on over the years, just to we don't want to take away from the free stuff. Like, we don't want to charge for these podcasts or other content. So we want to keep always have some free. But the VIP is for the paid, for the premium. We had the NFT workshop after the CBM, where it was a small group of people that really enjoyed getting some extra knowledge and insights, and then access to our forum, our members only groups and we're working on more. We're giving special NFTs, which I know are so, even for me, still kind of new, but we're testing that. And I think the first group of users in the NFTs will probably be the most valuable long-term as an investment. Of course, I know it's highly early and speculative, but that's one other benefit we're giving members. But essentially, it's access to, like people at CBM, right? They were asking you and me, like, how do I talk to this person or that person? Or, that's what our community and like you and others on our team will help our members connect and introduce. Of course, others can try to find these people and connect with them, but our membership is really, like it says, VIP. So we take care of our members. We also want to include them more and help promote them more in our cross-border matchmaker events in the future and other sessions we do.
Right. So if you want to learn more about the GFA VIP membership, you can go to gfavip.com, and I hope to see you on the inside.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks, Jan, for helping me out with these shows and being so supportive in the community. Let's see everybody next time.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Global from Asia podcast 352.
Yeah, 352. And it's globalfromasia.com/war stories. War stories, because they are.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.